Hello, everyone. Again, we are going to talk about the sports nutrition, but in a different issue. Our subject is very interesting today. It is about how athletes manage their weight. The objectives of this talk is to understand how to manage athletes' weight when they need to lose weight or when they need to add on weight. We are talking about the weight loss measures, either the gradual weight loss measures or the acute weight loss measures. In the gradual weight loss measures, there are two important issues, either the gradual reduction of the total caloric needs and the increase in the protein intake. And this is very important to follow up. We have to answer this question. How can athletes plan meals to meet the weight loss and keep the body composition all right? By keeping the body composition, the athletes are looking after keeping their muscle mass at a normal level. This is through three important points. Number one is the post-exercise dense nutrient food intake. Number two is eating 3 to 5 times per day or approximately every 3 to 4 hours, and this will sustain the metabolism and energy levels. And last but not least is the gradual decrease of the total caloric needs by about 500 calories per day. The recommended intake of the protein is about 1.6 to 2.4 grams per kilogram body weight. And we have to put in consideration certain points. If we need a quick loss of the weight, therefore we have to increase the protein intake. If the athlete is recommended to exercise more, we have to decrease the protein intake. And this protein intake should be distributed very equally along the day. Also, it is very important to notice that the protein intake after the exercise is important, as we have said before, because this protein helps in the management of the protein loss in the muscles after the exercise, especially the whey protein. What is the exercise to lose weight? To lose weight, additional exercise and physical activity are needed, and this is along with the dietary recommendation. The updated guidelines further delineate that to lose weight or maintain the significant weight loss, not less than 60 to 90 minutes of physical activity should be done for 5 days per week, and this is very necessary. So we have to eat extra protein in the morning because about 30 grams of protein within minutes of waking up will keep the satiety level and will stop the catabolic breakdown of the muscles from fasting overnight. Also, the athlete has to focus on nutrient-dense foods, such as the vegetables, the fruits, the legumes, and the grains. Satiety is a very critical issue here, because these foods keep the athlete full and satisfied for a longer period of time. Also, optimum hydration can improve performance and reduce the hunger. Hydration is before and after, and it is a must. This slide shows how we can manage the athletes in the loss of weight as regards the acute weight loss. There are several articles that have been issued in this subject. So, some acute weight loss methods include the gut content manipulation, others included body water manipulation, and others including the sweating methods. And all these methods are not practice-based evidence, but at the same time, they have been issued in papers and accepted. So we all know that some athletes usually follow these methods to lose weight just before their event. The weight loss measures for the acute loss of weight includes 3 days of dispersed consumption of large volumes of water prior to 1 day of fluid restriction. That appears to be a safe and effective method of acutely reducing the body mass through reduction in the body water and secondary to increased fluid losses. Authors suggested increased fluid consumption creates a small but potentially physiological significant reduction in plasma sodium concentration, and this suppresses the vasopressin release. So in this aspect, the athletes are recommended to have a lot of water intake and then the day after they have to stop drinking water at all, and this causes the decrease in the weight. Another important point is that how can athletes gain weight healthfully? Gaining muscle weight and not fat weight is a goal for the athletes who aim to gain weight. They don't just need to gain weight and so on. They have to keep the muscle mass or increase the muscle mass and not increase the fat mass. There are three main requirements for increasing the body weight, particularly in regard to the muscle mass. Participation in an appropriately planned resistance training program, and I'm sure that most of the coaches know how to do this, achieving a positive energy balance, and last but not least, achieving a protein-nitrogen balance. Resistant training program is best for gaining weight. The resistant training program chosen by an athlete wishing to gain weight should focus on stimulating the muscle hypertrophy. The training for the muscle hypertrophy includes the workout of all the major muscles with a training frequency of at least twice per week and incorporating this with weight loads that allow a minimum of about 8 and a maximum of about 12 repetitions per set. 3 to 5 sets should be performed as for each exercise. A very important point here is that the athlete should resort to rest of this group of muscles which has been worked out for about 48 hours. So they have to work different groups of muscles every 48 hours. What about the positive energy balance? The positive energy balance means clearly that we should intake more calories every day than that was supposed to be taken by the athlete. And this should be gradual increase in the total caloric need. The goal is to provide enough calories to cover the body's need to sensitize new muscles without exceeding the caloric requirements. Weight gain in the form of muscle is a gradual process, so the increase in the dietary intake should be modest to maximize the muscle gain versus the fat gain. And this occurs by consuming about 300 to 500 calories per day in the form of carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are very important because they spur the functions of the protein in building up of the muscles. If we increase the intake of the calories by about 2,300 up till 3,600 calories per day above the current requirements, this will result in the increase in the weight gain by about 0.5 kilograms per week. What is the meaning of the positive nitrogen balance? During a target weight gain period, protein needs are increased. Most of the additional proteins will be used to produce the muscle hypertrophy. Attaining a daily protein intake ranging from 1.4 to 2 grams per kilogram body weight is not difficult for most athletes. We all know that athletes resort to the increase in the intake of the protein. In summary, about the gain of the weight, it should be primarily the muscle mass. Strength train to provide a stimulus for muscle growth. Eat an additional 300 to 500 or more calories per day consistently. Consume the majority of the additional calories as carbohydrates. Consume adequate proteins to achieve positive nitrogen balance, and maintaining this protein intake above 1.4 grams per kilogram body weight, and it might reach up till 2.4 grams per kilogram body weight according to the needs. So we have to answer a very important question now. Do athletes need dietary supplements to gain weight? The use of the protein supplements is common in athletes who desire to gain weight. And the calorie supplements may also be helpful because there are some athletes who are not able to eat this amount of food. So the caloric supplements may increase the intake of the calories by 300 to 500 calories per day. There are certain nutrition tips for weight gain, and this includes the consumption of fluids after meals to avoid being full on liquids, consumption of a variety of nutrient-dense and energy-dense foods, the consumption of high-caloric beverages between the meals. Also, the use of predetermined cues to eat. Example, the planned meals with friends, always having a snack at a fixed time, sports drinks instead of water during training, including the snacks throughout the day, or including the snacks at bedtime, avoiding the carbonated beverages that produce gas and bloating and the feeling of fullness. Thank you very much.